Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey today. Who who are we? I think it's Virgo. We'll do Virgo. I'm pretty sure, like I just did Leo. So yeah, Virgo is next. Right? So wherever Virgo is in your chart, as you can see, we have 3 decks out here. And let me just explain it because clearly my brain is struggling a little bit. So I'm like, let me just do one thing at a time. That might be a message for you too, to just kind of focus on one thing at a time. I'm actually going to write that down. I'm trying to get better at like video titles too, because I just kind of suck at that, if you couldn't tell. And I swear, I literally forget everything that I say, like as soon as I say it. So it's like hard to remember a title. So I'm like trying to get better at writing it down as soon as something significant like kind of comes to me. Anyway, one thing at a time. And if you're also like anything like me, that is a struggle to do, especially if you have like a lot going on in your mind. It gets really overwhelming really pretty quick. And also too, again, if you're anything like me, it just kind of makes you like shut down to the point where you're just like, fuck it. Like, I don't know where to start. I'm just gonna almost like kind of self-soothe. And also too, it's like one of those things of, almost waiting for something to become a priority itself, like to be presented to you, versus like choosing one thing, like also it's like one of those things of not making a decision is actually making a decision. So anyway, I know I was like kind of getting into explaining what we have going on here. We have 3 decks, clearly. The first deck is the Before Tarot, which is one moment before the events on like the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, so it's like the moment leading up to that event of the card. And then on the right here, we have the After Tarot, which, if you can guess, right, is like the moment after. And then in the middle here, we have the Radiant Wise tarot deck, which is like your traditional Rider-Waite tarot. Is just, the images are kind of beefed up a little bit. I thought I had just like a regular Rider-Waite tarot deck, but I cannot find it. So I don't know if I ever did, or if I used to sell them in my Etsy shop. Anyway, so basically the premise of this is like the recent past, of course, current energy, and then, near future. And we're just going to pull one card. Well, we're going to get one card from each deck. And then, of course, at some point, we will also take a look at the bottom of the deck. So I don't, these readings have been really pretty beautiful, just the way that the cards have been coming out and relating to each other. So, let me know what you think of it. Let me know if it resonates. Drop a comment. Let me know that you're here, of course, to say hi. So, whoa. Dang, hang on. There was actually 2 cards that came out, and, we'll see. Leo did this too, where 2 cards were coming out for Leo. Like out of each deck, 2 cards came out. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not comparing you to like Leo or anything, of course, you know. For unless of course you have Leo placements, and you know, of course, highly recommend listening to that reading too. Virgo, present energy. We don't take the cards that flip in the deck because I just don't take them seriously. You know, like I want commitment. And if there is a message, then the card needs to come out of the deck like that. I'm like, all of my decks, we've had one-on-one conversations about it. That's a 6 of Pentacles. I didn't even say over here, the 4 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. I don't shuffle reversals into the decks either. So but if the card comes out in the reverse, we will leave it that way. Granted, these fell on the floor, but that is how I picked it up. I just noticed because I where I'm sitting now, like I have my laptop right in front of me, which is nice. And I've been trying to be in the habit of like pulling up the transit chart, you know, just to kind of see where things are. And and of course, you know, it has my own chart. And I just noticed that Neptune being back in Pisces is squaring my natal Neptune again, which I also have in retrograde. And Neptune is currently in retrograde. I don't know. Anyway, and the moon is sitting right on top of my... Maybe it'll be a good day to do these readings. We'll see. Anyway, Virgo, near future. Page of Cups. I did already, like I glimpsed what was at the bottom of that deck. Is there like a hair? Hello? There is a hair. Come on. And I am excited for when we get around to that. So I'm looking at the 4 of Cups and then this Page of Cups in the near future. And okay, let's just start talking about it. My brain, I feel like my brain keeps like stopping. And I'm not sure if that's a me thing or if that's a you thing. Because part of me is like, man, you know, maybe I should pause doing this reading and like come back when, I don't know, my brain is more aware, or because you know, like what is also happening too because of that is like I'm kind of finding myself, first of all, overanalyzing what is happening. Obviously, I'm kind of doing that out loud here, just kind of also verbalizing like what's happening. Because again, like I'm not sure if it is me or if it is you or if it's like both of us, right? You know, like if this has been your experience. But it's like, you know, and I know I was saying in the beginning there about like taking one thing at a time, and if there's multiple things that you need to be responsible for or make decisions on or take action towards, or you know, if there's just many things that are even vying for your attention or whatever, and it feels overwhelming, it like almost kind of makes you like shut down a little bit. And I don't know if also in part that for some reason, like I'm feeling kind of vulnerable in this reading, or that like this reading is making me feel vulnerable. And that definitely makes me shut down, which is not that great. But I do feel like I do struggle with expressing vulnerability, and too, like, if whatever it is that has been in your recent past has made you feel vulnerable in some capacity, like if that is making you shut down, or I get, almost go into like overanalyze mode. It's like kind of this feeling of slowing down, taking some deep breaths. Also, like really feeling into where you are placing expectations. Like expectations just came to my mind as well. Like an expectation for an outcome, or like a perceived expectation on you. Again, just slowing down, taking deep breaths. I really have been trying to focus lately anyway on my breathing, because it's just one of those things we take for granted, right? And I also just notice how like I tend to breathe into my chest. I don't breathe into like my lungs or like my stomach, which kind of sounds dumb, because of course, it's your lungs that you're breathing into, but it's almost like the top half of my lungs that I'm breathing into. I don't tend to breathe into my bottom half, or, lungs expand 360, right? They don't, so it's almost even consciously imagining pulling air into my lungs to where they are literally, the whole thing is expanding out, and I can feel it in my body, 360 all the way around. And it's crazy how I literally have to consciously breathe into my stomach, in the sense of to where my stomach expands or pushes out, which I know is like my own insecurity, because I've been insecure about my stomach for, ever, for, like since I was a child. So it's like, I know it's like a subconscious thing of, if I am expanding my stomach, then, it's getting bigger, and my subconscious, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, and two, even just taking up space, truly, with breath. It's, it's like expanding the cells of your body. But, and how long does it take to take just a couple deep breaths? Like they talk, is it square? Is that what it's called? Breathing, where, you inhale for 4 or 5 seconds, you hold it for 4 or 5 seconds, you exhale. Maybe it's triangle. I don't know. Anyway, like one of them. Triangles or squares. It's, you inhale for 4 or 5 seconds, hold it 4 or 5 seconds, exhale 4 or 5 seconds, and maybe you hold it there for 4 or 5 seconds before you inhale again. So that would make a square. But anyway, breath work, like when the overwhelm happens, when the overanalyzing happens, breathe, truly, and I no doubt, the thing that requires your immediate attention or prioritizing will kind of come to the forefront in your brain. And don't even attach anything specific to that. If it's the thing that you least expected, or you know what I mean? Like if it's like, oh, I don't don't know, like that kind of seems insignificant, or that, it's like, don't start overthinking that. Just do it, whatever it is. Because also too, I think it's like starting to like honor your own inner guidance and your own intuition, because sometimes that shit doesn't make sense. But also maybe it's going to be like the easiest thing to address, or it's going to be the thing that, like kind of causes the domino effect to start happening. Or at least it just kind of gets you going. Interestingly, I mean, I do feel that everything that I just said relates to all of these cards. I know I kind of started talking about the Four of Cups and the Page of Cups, but I'm going to take it one step at a time. I think that was also a good reminder, because like as soon as I mentioned that, it was just like so many things like, like hit my brain to where I just shut down, because I got like immediately overwhelmed with like what I wanted to say, that I like couldn't even say anything. So I'm going to take my own advice, and we're just going to start here at the beginning. And it's interesting how on this Four of Cups, the person is drinking out of the one cup, and there's these three other cups that are being offered to them as well. And again, like this is the before tarot, right? So in the traditional tarot, there's three cups on the ground. There's one in the cloud, one that's being offered. And the message with the Four of Cups is about boredom, lethargy, dissatisfaction, just not real underwhelmment, just not, because in the traditional, now all of a sudden, like my back is all itchy. Where'd that come from? So in the before tarot, they're starting to try like what's in those cups, right? And then in the present tarot, there will be three cups on the ground, one in the cloud, and the person will be like, ugh, another one, I didn't, like I already went through three. Not really liking the options. Also, too, though, what is coming to my mind now is distraction and numbing. Like if you are using something, whatever it is, I mean, of course, it can be, a substance. We have cups here. But whatever it is, scrolling could be a distraction or numbing. Some other form of avoidance. But it's, again, it's like a coping mechanism, or it's like because there are too many things that are being either offered to you, or again, like requiring your attention, requiring your responsibility, that it's causing a form of avoidance within you. And just because these things are in your awareness doesn't necessarily mean that like you have to take them all on at one time. It's kind of like that thing of like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because they're there, or just because they're being offered to you, doesn't mean that you have to accept them. But, it's like almost feeling the pressure of them. And in order to relieve the pressure, it's like, absorbing it or taking it on yourself. Even too, like maybe feeling like you don't have a different option. And the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like there's a real effect being on your independence, your sense of like security, worth. I mean, maybe too, it's like getting stuck in this idea of all of these things in the Four of Cups. Like if I can address them all, if I can handle them all, if I can, again, absorb, intake them all, then that would release the discomfort or show that I'm like resilient or whatever, but it's kind of doing the opposite. Excess, disillusionment, disenchantment, weariness, disgust, displeasure, discontent, dissatisfaction, boredom, dejection. The Four of Cups shows that you have too much of a good thing. It could be too, like really okay. The Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical time and our physical energy. Does this say it's 20 minutes already? This is going to be long. Sorry. We haven't even gotten to all these other cards yet. So, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical time and our energy, which we traditionally use in exchange for money, right? So it's like where are you spending your time? How are you investing your energy? It's our health and our body. Anything tangible, anything that we place worth and value on. The Nine of Pentacles upright talks about independence, financial independence, success, financial freedom. Nines are individual completion. So it's about you personally, first of all, getting yourself to a place of feeling, stable, secure monetarily with your health. And second of all, it's like your own personal vision of success and independence. So with the card coming out in the reverse, you could be experiencing or have been, because this is a recent past, dependency in some aspect, because that's kind of the opposite of, freedom. You could be, or independence. That's interesting. Well, both, freedom and independence. Because I'm like, what is the difference between, I mean, they're kind of a lot the same-ish, but, almost even too, like, again, just a dissatisfaction coming from the dissatisfaction card with maybe where you're at in your life, in work, in, savings, your money, your health. Reversals can also be more like internal processing versus external expression. So you could just be really reviewing or being aware of where you're at in your life and where maybe you still have a dependency on certain things and where you want to establish independence from things. Or again, maybe you're reviewing your skills and your work, and are you being paid a wage that is in alignment with that? Is there room for growth somewhere? Even too, like loneliness could be in there, just feeling unfulfilled in general. Your health, like I was saying, because pentacles have to do with our physical body. And whatever is happening in the Four of Cups could be affecting your overall health. And then in the current energy, we have the Six of Pentacles. Interesting that all of the cards that are out here are Pentacles and Cups. So earth and water, which honestly, I kind of feel like go well because Earth needs water to grow. It's practical action or practical application with, intuition and feeling and just the being grounded, but also being fluid, like not so grounded to where you won't move, but being grounded in the sense of absorbing almost like what you need. Like I kind of keep imagining water, like roots absorbing water, like that type of grounding, which perpetuates or not perpetuates, which encourages growth. Do those mean the same thing? It's interesting that kind of keeps happening too, where it's like one thing, I say one thing and I'm like, no, not that, this over here, but it's kind of like the same-ish thing. So also, I mean, maybe even something to like be aware of, because again, I think it's like getting stuck in the analyzing thing, which I believe is very Virgo. I'm a Virgo moon. Also, my Virgo moon is in my third house of communication and words and shit. So that's also, my, the moon is my chart ruler as well. But anyway, the Six of Pentacles talks about support from others, giving and receiving. We can see this figure here that is dropping money into this person's hand, but there's also like this figure over here that has their hand out as well. It traditionally talks about having somebody, whether that's you or somebody that you cross paths with, having an abundance of something, whether that is money, skill, expertise, whatever, so it could be a mentor, it could be a boss, it could be a business or corporation, like a company that has an opening, right? It could be a doctor. But there is something that they either have the knowledge in, the expertise in to pass on to you. Or again, right, I mean, it could be a job opening where obviously like they have the need to fill a role and they have the means to pay a wage that's like more in alignment with you. Or of course, I mean, it could be opposite, right? Like you could be the person that somebody is looking for to be a mentor for them or an expert for them, because you have the expertise, you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the training. I'm kind of curious though, like what the book. The idea of wealth and poverty is continued from the Five of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles. Two beggars are seen receiving money from a wealthy merchant who holds balancing scales as if to measure out his good deeds. Is charity given from the heart, or is it performed with a sense of having power and control over one less fortunate? The city in the background implies wealth and commerce. The posture of the characters implies hierarchy. I mean, like this card does talk about charity. I always see the Six of Pentacles as being something like where there's no strings attached. It's like an energy exchange, right? Like even like with YouTube and this channel, which, I'm just going to prompt. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would absolutely love if you did that. But but right, like you consume content, right? And the energy exchange for that would be subscribing to a channel that you resonate with, or liking the video, or right, like it's kind of like that energy exchange. There's not really necessarily any strings attached to that, but there is an exchange of energy there. Volunteer work, like receiving a grant, because again, like I feel like a loan would have strings attached to it. Grants, they might, but it's not like something that you have to pay back with interest, right? So with this being in the current energy here, a couple different things are like coming to my mind. This is a call for you to help other people, to be available for help to other people, which I also even kind of feel is like a Virgo thing too, like acts of kindness, acts of service, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise with somebody, multiple people, whatever. Almost too, like putting yourself out there to do that. It could also, of course, be accepting help from somebody else. Again, and I know, like I mentioned this already, but it's almost like reviewing and qualifying your skill set, your knowledge, your expertise, your training, and evaluating if what you are receiving in return for that is balanced with these scales here, which is very like Libra energy too. Justice, which is obviously Libra. It could even be applying for a role that you're qualified for, but maybe you felt like you didn't have the energy or the time or whatever, over here with the Four of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. It's almost kind of like the time is right. Maybe the timing is better. The pay is better. Whatever it is, it's something that is coming up for you is almost like packaged differently. And then the Page of Cups here at the end, it's interesting. What was interesting to me at the beginning is that in this Four of Cups over here, right, there's 4 cups being offered to this figure. And he's just going to start drinking them, right? But over here in the Page of Cups, they've chosen 1 cup. It almost even looks like it could be the same person. I'm only saying that because they have dark hair, and the long sleeves that they're wearing is red. Of course, they changed their clothes, but the Page of Cups is about creativity, imagination, intention. Water, I don't even know if I mentioned it with the Four of Cups, but water have to do with our emotions, love, our relationship to love as well. Because sure, how do we give love? But more importantly, how do we receive it? Because I think most of us we find it more difficult to receive acts of kindness or acts of service from people, right? Like it's hard to accept help or to ask for it. It's hard to receive love, compassion, empathy, but it's easy to give it, This fish is like reminding me of Pisces. And, wherever Virgo is for you, right? Like the South Node is in Virgo, the North Node is in Pisces. Neptune and Saturn are back in Pisces as well. One last time. Well, at least Neptune. Saturn will be back in 30 something years. But it's just like, it's making me think of Pisces. And again, Pisces, the key words for Pisces is like dreamy, again, intuitive, creative, and this fish jumping out of the cup here, to me, signals, we were talking over here about dependency and, maybe feeling like locked into something to where it's hindering your feeling of independence. Over here, the fish jumping out of the cup to me feels like independence, freedom, breaking free of something. It's again, like even the timing, like timing keeps coming back into my brain, which I was talking about with the Six of Pentacles as well. The timing of things, like even just maybe things are starting to settle down, like the fog is starting to clear, and now you're better able to see where you can find or reestablish some independence and break free of the container. Because this is also the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is about feeling fulfilled, filling your own cup. It's usually overflowing. It's like getting back into hobbies or crafts or even, practices where emotionally it fills your cup. You feel rejuvenated, self-love, self-care. Like reestablishing or establishing a new routine or practice. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck for these. And of course, I know I already mentioned it, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would absolutely love it if you did. It helps me grow. It helps YouTube kick these videos out for more people to see them. Like the video, leave a comment. Those are all free ways to support me and the channel. So thank you. Thank you for being here in general. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Queen of Wands. Whoops. We have the Nine of Pentacles. I know I already said that. Like I was excited to see who is at the bottom of the deck over here. Interesting because, we go from the Three of Cups to the Four of Cups over here. And in the Three of Cups, this is a card of friendship and networking, celebration, support from others. And this person is squeezing these grapes into these two cups here for their friends. And to me, with this being in the recent past, and especially with these two other things, there could be too much of a focus on caring for other people, making sure that everybody else is fine. It's like the whole putting on other people's masks before you put on your own type of thing. Like, on an airplane, they tell you if those oxygen masks fall to like put yours on first before you put on somebody else's. This like has a feeling, since it is in the recent past and with it being with these two other cards, it's, managing other people, making sure that other people, it's almost like people pleasing, but it's like making sure that other people are fine. And maybe too, it's like to distract how out of balance you are, like, because it's almost like if the focus is on literally anything else, then the focus can't be on you. Maybe too, there's, just people around you that are feeling the same thing, just being able to commiserate with you. It could even just be like the company that you keep. Just the people around you just not helping. Not like in a bad way, not, like intentionally or anything like that, but it's just, neutral. Like it's not giving you anything. It's not necessarily taking anything either. It's maybe even giving you something to like focus on so you don't have to focus on yourself, but also that's not helping you. We have the Queen of Wands here in the middle, which to me, so it's interesting that like over here, right, we have this kind of this whole like thing about almost like I wanted to say squandered independence, but suffocated or smothered is, like just kind of feeling like in a container. Again, like distracting, not focusing on yourself, feeling overwhelmed, analysis paralysis, like those type of things. And then like over here, we have these like two cards of being independent and confident, because to me, like the Queen of Wands is independent and confident. We also finally have a fire card out here, because more cups, more pentacles. Fire is about motivation, action, creativity, passion, desire. Also, I see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. What do we like? What don't we like? What stays, what goes. And I think too, like taking action, it like awakens our energy, like literally putting a fire up under your ass. And even like feeling the motivation or the desire to even want to take action towards something. And I love that it's on top of the Six of Pentacles, because this to me is like, it's like knowing your worth. It's being confident in yourself for one, but being confident in your ability and expressing that. Queens are when we embody the energy of the suit ourselves. We learn to work with it. We learn to master it. We learn, to recognize it. It could even be expressing yourself differently in the way that you dress, or again, just your own like self-expression that way. It could just be showing up in your work more confidently. Not like arrogance, but just like I know this shit, like I know I'm good at it. I know this is what I want to do as well. Like I know this role is mine. And it's moving in the world like that. And then, like I said over here at the beginning, I already saw that the Nine of Pentacles was at the bottom of the deck, which I think is amazing, and it's upright, right? Because we start with the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and in the near future, the Nine of Pentacles is in the upright. So you are establishing independence, financial freedom. You're reaching a level of like personal success here. And even too with the grapes, because over here, this figure is squeezing grapes into these cups. Not their own cup here that's on the bottom, or that's on the floor, right? But over here in this Nine of Pentacles, now they're looking at these grapes, which I think grapes in tarot like represent abundance and luxury. So there is this call to action here. There is something that is calling you to action with the Six of Pentacles. And by taking that action, even having the feeling of being motivated and feeling that fire under your ass, right? Like is probably such a change from the recent past, that maybe, like it'll take a minute to get that going, but stoke that fire, because it is going to lead you to independence, creativity, intuition. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.